You just took a VOWST fecal transplant, but can you take probiotics at the same time? The information out there about mixing VOWST and probiotics together is confusing and it's often contradictory. Some doctors say no probiotics for 6 months. Others will say go ahead and start right away. And yet other doctors will say don't take probiotics or supplements at all during VOWST. In this video, I'll share what current microbiome research and real-world clinical experience show about combining probiotics, toxin binders, and gut-supporting supplements during and after VOWST or any fecal transplant procedure. In this video, you'll learn how fecal transplants like VOWST work, why doctors disagree about probiotics and VOWST, and when to safely add probiotics after VOWST. Hi, I'm Michelle Moore, and I help people recover their gut, immune system, and microbiome naturally after infections or antibiotics. While I am a microbiologist, I am not a doctor. This video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered as medical advice. The supplements discussed in this video are designed to support recovery, and they're not to replace prescription treatments. Always talk to your doctor before starting or changing your supplements. I am not affiliated or endorsed by the makers of VOWST or any FMT product or pharmaceutical company. When people first hear about fecal transplants, it can sound a bit unusual, the idea of receiving donor stool to help prevent recurring C. difficile infections. But for the many people who've had relapses after their antibiotics, FMT, otherwise known as a fecal microbiota transplant, has brought new hope to mainstream C. difficile treatment. In fact, in 2017, FMT became one of the recommended standard treatments for recurrent C. difficile as published by the Infectious Diseases Society of America, or the IDSA. There are several ways FMT can be performed, where donor stool is transferred into the recipient to help restore gut bacteria. The most common FMTs are colon-based delivery methods like either an enema or a colonoscopy, and also oral capsules like VOWST, which is a newer, less invasive option with some clear advantages over older procedures. Currently, only 2 FMT-based products are FDA approved as biologic drugs, VOWST and Biota. All other FMTs fall under the FDA's enforcement discretion policy, meaning that they're not formally approved, but they may still be used under medical supervision following the IDSA guidelines. The goal of FMT is simple: to replace missing or damaged gut microbes with a healthy, balanced mix from a screened human donor. Each type of FMT comes with its own pros, cons, and risks. Now, FMT can restore balance quickly and with relatively few side effects, but the process isn't without uncertainty. Donor variability, immune reactions, and limited long-term research are still concerns with FMTs. During and after an FMT, your gut goes through several phases: the active treatment phase, the delicate engraftment period, early recovery, and long-term recolonization. Knowing which phase you're in helps determine when probiotics and supplements might support recovery or when they might interfere. We hear from people all the time who are unsure about what to do after VOWST, especially when their doctor's advice on probiotics conflicts with what they've been reading online. Some people are told to avoid probiotics for months, others are told to start right away, and a few are told to skip supplements entirely. It's confusing, and honestly, it makes recovery a lot harder than it needs to be. If you look at the official VOWST prescribing information, it doesn't provide any clear direction on probiotics or other supplements. The guidance simply says that interactions with foods, vitamins, or supplements are not known. It also warns not to take VOWST at the same time as antibiotics, but there's no mention of probiotics before, during, or after treatment. In other words, the manufacturer hasn't studied it, so they can't make a claim either way. That means the advice to avoid probiotics isn't based on known harm, it's based on a lack of data, not on any published evidence that probiotics interfere with VOWST or FMT success. Because these microbiome therapies are still new, doctors take a very conservative stance. With no consistent research or clinical guidance, people are left guessing and worrying about doing the wrong thing. In the next section, I'll walk you through a simple research-based add-back timeline you can discuss with your doctor. Now that you understand why the advice on probiotics after VOWST or FMT are so mixed, let's look at what many research-minded practitioners actually do in practice. As of the time of making this video and reviewing the current data, including the 2024 AGA clinical guideline, the 2021 clinical gastroenterology and hepatology outcome study, and the 2018 Cell paper on probiotic timing, one clear theme emerges: timing matters. These studies don't suggest that probiotics are harmful, but they do suggest that taking them too soon can interfere with the microbiota's settling in process. The same goes for antibiotics. The AGA recommends finishing them and allowing for a short washout period before the FMT, since antibiotics can suppress the very microbes you're trying to grow. In both cases, timing plays a key role in how well your microbiome recovers. So here's a general overview of how integrative and research-minded practitioners approach probiotic and supplement use after an FMT or VOWST treatment. In the first week after completing the FMT, the goal is simply to let those new donor microbes settle in. That means no probiotics, no antimicrobials, and no binders yet. By weeks 2 and 3, once things start to stabilize, it's often fine to bring in something gentle like an immunoglobulin G binder that helps neutralize leftover C. difficile toxins without disturbing the microbiome itself. Around weeks 3 to 5, once the new microbiota has had some time to stabilize, the focus shifts to gently rebuilding diversity. This is when many practitioners begin introducing a low dose of spore-based probiotics like Bacillus species or a yeast probiotic like Saccharomyces boulardii. Now, it's common to start with a low dose and increase gradually over a few weeks, giving the body time to adjust. And many clinicians also prefer adding one probiotic at a time, spacing them out by several days or a week. Now, from about week 5 onward, once probiotics are well tolerated, that's often when practitioners consider introducing stronger, broad-acting binders such as clays, charcoals, or GI detox if it's appropriate. And finally, after about 6 to 10 weeks, when your gut feels stable, that's when health practitioners will layer in herbal antimicrobials such as biocidin or Olivirex if needed. Following these time frames, along with your doctor's guidance, gives the FMT time to do its work and helps you feel more confident that you're supporting the process and not interfering with it. Keep in mind these FMT stages are flexible. The timing after treatment is not set in stone. Everyone's needs are different, and what probiotic or supplement schedule works best can vary. Talk with your doctor about this add-back timeline and see what's best for you. So that's how the timing piece fits together, but remember, probiotics are just one piece of the C. diff recovery puzzle. The real question is, what else does your body need to get back on track? And if you're curious about other natural ways to support your recovery after a medical treatment, be sure to check out my next video on the top 3 C. diff remedies.